Logan says, he goes, you know, I'm not even doing this in school yet. And he said, I know, it's so great, right? It's like advanced math, right? So now, are you ready? We're going to go to advanced math. Why I'm doing that with you is so that you remember when this shows up a few years from now, that prime numbers are what? Very important. Okay, good. Simplifying square roots using prime numbers. Okay? Now, how many of you know that 5 to the second power means 5 times 5, which is 25? How many of you know that? Awesome. Is that pretty much common knowledge? Okay, good. Now, Moms, I'm going to ask you this question because you'll know this and you'll know the answer, but maybe not why, and then we'll make up why. We're going to make up a rule. Here it comes. How about the square root of 25? How many of you know what the square root of 25 is? Okay, what's the square root of 25? 5. Good. Now, for some of you going, dude, I don't even know what a square root is. I've never heard of it. It's okay. I just want you to see like what we do with these prime numbers once we get them, okay? Why is the square root of 25 equal 5?
Because 5 times 5 equals 25.
Exactly, because 5 times 5 equals 25. So now we're going to make up a rule, okay? Remember, I like to make up rules, right? You like making up rules? Kind of fun when you can make up your own rules. It's cool, right? So here's my rule, okay? Here it is. 2 5s on the inside of a square root make 1 5 on the outside of the square root. How many of you does that make sense? If I have 2 5s inside a square root, I can have 1 5 on the outside. That make sense? Okay, how many of you are going, okay, I get that. I like it. It's a good rule. You made it up. Did we just make that up?
No, actually, there is such thing as that.
There is such thing as that? Really? 2 5s on the inside make 1 5 on the outside? You've heard it before? Somebody took my rule? That's cool. That's good. I'm glad. Good. It's like Wikipedia. It's all, you know, open source. That's good. Okay, now, here's the square root of 50. Okay, we're going to use the same idea. And I'm going to write, guess what I'm going to write for 50? I'm going to write what? The prime factors, because they're what? Very important. Okay? So here's the the prime factors of 50, which is 5 times 5 times 2. And remember what we just said? We said that what? That 2 5s on the inside make 1 5 on the outside. Okay, great. Well, I have 2 5s on the inside, which make 1 on the outside, but I don't have 2 2s. So that doesn't get out. It stays in. All right? Now, when you're doing square roots, here's what you will have heard in the past. Find the perfect square in the number and take the square root of that and write down what's left over. Here's the problem. If you don't know perfect squares, it's going to be an issue. Okay? Not many people actually spend the time to know that 16 times 16 is 256. All right? How many of you actually want to know that? 16 times 16 is 256. It's like a multiplication fact you want to remember forever. You do? Okay, good. You should write that down and say it over and over and over again. 16 times 2 is 16 is 256. Okay. And I kept these colored, okay? So that when you're going back to look at this, the 5s are red. 2 5s on the inside make 1 on the outside, and so the 5 on the outside turn from red to green. Kind of make sense? Stop, go. Okay? And then the 2 stays on the inside. So, guess what? If you wanted to do cube roots, do you know what you're looking for then? Ready for this? Cube root means to the third power. Or third power, like a third root. So, if it takes 2 on the inside to make 1 on the outside for a square root, what do you think the rule is for a cube root? 3 on the inside, make 1 on the outside. Right. A fourth root would be, tell me.
What, a fourth?
Yeah.
And 64.
Oh, awesome. It is, isn't it?
But we are required to know our cubes.
You are? Outstanding. Good. So 4 cubed is 64? Awesome. What's 8 cubed?
No, 5 to 12.
Beautiful. That's so cool. Where's Mom? Where's your mom? Oh, great. Grandma, you doing? Okay, cool. All right. So, you guys are ready? We're going to do a quick practice here. All right? Matter of fact, we'll walk you through this one. All right? So let's start with 12. How many of you can tell me the prime factors of 12? What are they? Awesome. Write it down. 2 and 2 and 3 are the prime factors of 12. And 2 on the inside make 1 on the outside. And I'll tell you the prime factors of 80. 4 2s and a 5. Because we're getting ready to take a break and I want to get you right where we are. Okay? Prime factors of 80 are 4 2s and a 5. Or 16 times 5, or 8 times 10. I don't know.
So is it 2?
That's it. 2 times the square root of 3. You got it. And then with the 80, it's 4 2s and a 5. 4 2s and a 5.
So how many?
For 80. Now, every time there's a pair, you take one out. So with 80, it's going to happen 2 times. Let's see. Uh-huh.
See that?
How many of you can see that the square root of 12, we can write as 2 times the square root of 3 because there's 2 2's on the inside, we get 1 on the outside, yes? And then with the square root of 80, 80 starts out as 8 times 10, which turns into 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. And I have a pair of 2's, but I have another pair of 2's. So in this one, I get out 2's twice. I get out 2 2's. Because for every 2 2's, 1 gets out. And I'm left with the 5, so I'm left with 4 times the square root of 5. Now, guys, are you ready for this? Especially for those of you, last night I was working with a young lady who was getting ready to graduate from high school. You know what we were doing last night? This. Senior in high school, and she said, I don't understand square roots and how to simplify them. And I said, great, what do you know about prime numbers? She goes, what's a prime number? That's where we started. Within an hour, she actually was telling me how to do it. Yeah. You know who was most happy? Mom and Dad. Yeah. I'm going to graduate, yay! So she's like 2 tests away from being done. So she's like, yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you this one real quick, and then we're going to take a break. Can you do this with letters and numbers? Does the same rule apply? Because what we said was we didn't say 2 numbers on the inside. We said 2 of the same thing on the inside make 1 on the outside, right? 2 on the inside make 1 on the outside. Well, let's take a look at this. Here are the factors of 24. A squared is b. Okay? Well, what I have for my 24 is like 4 times 6, 8 times 3, 12 times 2. However you want to do that, you're going to get 3 2's and a 3. And I have an A and an A and a B. Now, how many of you see 1 pair of 2's? Good? So 1 pair of 2's is going to get me out of 2. How many of you see that there's 2 A's? So 2 A's on the inside will make 1 on the outside. How many of you see 2 B's? I'm going to raise their hand. Why don't you see 2 B's? Because there's only 1. Okay, good. So is the B going to get out? No! The B stays in. What do we got? We got 2 2's and 2 A's. That's what's coming out. So the 2 and the A come out. The 2, you got this 2, this 3, and that B stay in. And what we're left with is 2A times the square root of 6B. Okay? Now, here's what's really cool about this. For some of you, you're going to say, you know, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I completely understand it. How many of you are kind of going like that? You're going, I don't know what you're talking about, but boy, that makes sense, right? Because prime factors are what? Very important.